Hi folks, I hope you're well. I just watched a video of the crowd at a Green Day concert in 2017 singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Wow. Well, as I said before, it is a case that, whatever artists you've had in the past, they'll be up in heaven, and if they saw that happening, well, like Freddie, when he died, Freddie Mercury, he would have gone to heaven because I don't believe he was a judgmental person at all. I mean, he may have been in parts of his life, but I think he ended his life in, humility and, so I think he's probably with God. And I think he's one of those people that when he went up there, you had the likes of Beethoven, Mozart, all those incredible artists from those times, and even King David, because he was known for his music. Yeah. Just imagine if you're them and you get someone like him turn up. Yeah. Because, as I say, as a song, Bohemian Rhapsody is, and always has been, phenomenal as a song. The way it's put together, musicality, it is phenomenal. I don't know of another song that I could say, and I've heard so many, but I've never heard another song that I would say is as perfect as that has so much in it as that. To have opera, to have rock, to have pop, to have drama, and to have, in a way, Freddie Mercury predicting his death in the words of the song. It is a gift from heaven. And as I say, it's ridiculous. So many people, like the pastor of the Pentecostal church, they wanted to be good little Christians and therefore they didn't listen to worldly music. Oh my God. How ridiculously stupid. Bohemian Rhapsody is, by all accounts, 3 or 4 songs moulded into one. The chances that could work, that was God-given. To be such an incredible song, to have such an incredible impact on the world, that 27 years after Freddie Mercury died, you've got a massive crowd of people. They got the song playing in the background, and all these people are singing along to the song. And it's immense. As one of the commentators said, people that commented said, you imagine if you're Green Day and you've got to come on after that. The pressure on them. Yeah. Certainly got the crowd going. Yeah. But that's the point. That song is very old. 40-something years old. And bloody incredible as a song. Still now. What was it they did it in? Is it Bill and Ted? It was a Bill and Ted's thing. I can't remember what the actual film was called. But again, in the car, that's Bohemian Rhapsody. There's hardly any other song that can do that to people. And so, yeah, again, it's not just Freddie Mercury. Obviously, yeah, you've got the whole group of Queen involved in the song. But yeah, just seeing that, I had tears in my eyes because, just thinking of, again, people like Freddie. I was watching something. I was watching these things that talk about. And this is another interesting point. These videos that talk about the wives and the children of the higher ups of the Gestapo, and one thing that was quite, apparent to these people is that, well, clearly they had phenomenal lives for a time. Phenomenal wealth. They had position. They had power. They had authority. They had wonderful homes. They had people that served them and treated them as if they were royalty. This is the children and the wives. So when their fathers and husbands were tried at Nuremberg, after Nuremberg, the families lost their homes. Their homes were confiscated, all their possessions, basically most of which were confiscated. Anything of any worth was taken away. And then the mothers were put on trial as to what degree they supported Nazism. And they were denied a pension and denied the ability to work in the public sector and stuff like that. And I was thinking, yeah. They had phenomenal, certainly the kids, they had phenomenal beginnings where they had a life that most of us could never imagine as a child growing up. But then, the horror. And also, one thing that's quite interesting is how most of them still believed up until, their 50s and 60s that their father, the one who was high up in the Nazi organisation, was a lovely man who was a lovely dad, and they can't believe the bad things that were said about them. And most of the people who were in some sort of support of Nazism, years later, 20, 30 years later, they still believed that Nazism was beautiful. Why? Well, because at the beginning, look at how people cheered for it. Look at how people basically thought it was that Hitler was basically the second coming of Christ. What they made of it initially. How Germany had come out of a massive depression. And really, thanks to Nazism, they had had all their roads built and they had had industry coming back, and people had more money in their pockets to spend. They could buy food. They could, buy nice things for their homes. Now, and as I say, this is why people in church are the same, where people, they have a way of understanding, a way of believing, and they will believe up until the point of they going to hell that, what they have was right, and it was good. People, when they invest in something in such a degree, it's very, very difficult to see that as wrong. The reason why I mention this is because, the point I was connecting it to Freddie Mercury is that Freddie Mercury had an incredible life from Yeah, from the 60s onwards. But very difficult last few years. Obviously, he would have had a difficult time with regards to his homosexuality. Yeah. But to be so incredibly blessed in the way he was. Getting back to the point of the earlier point. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have had incredibly beautiful beginnings and terrible ends. And yeah, Freddie Mercury was someone who, yes, his ending was bad with AIDS. That was obviously incredibly difficult. But as I say, that song Mother Love, you hear just how wonderful and how incredible his voice still is at that point in time. And so therefore, yeah, his gift that he got from God was still there. Still very much as beautiful as it ever was. Still very much as angelic as it ever was. When he was racked with AIDS. And so, yeah. In the end, for that many people to be blessed by something that was written and originally performed, it's got to be nearly 50 years ago now. It has to be. And that is quite incredible. But yeah, it was a God-given song. It was a song of incredible beauty, incredible power. And so, yeah, that's why it's still as powerful now. You take care. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye.